So there is a cocktail that has been taking the social media world by storm. It is the Negroni Sbagliato. And that's what we're making today, right?
Absolutely is.
And did I pronounce it right?
You've got that right, yeah. Sbagliato, S-B-A-G. We've got that, perfect.
Let's go for that. And we're with our partners Whitley Neill, who are providing the delicious gin in this Negroni Sbagliato.
So what I've done is, so this is a riff on the classically known Negroni, which is most commonly known as 3 equal parts of gin, a bitter, most commonly Campari, and a sweet vermouth. So this is the red wine, kind of fortified red wine vermouth you often see. What I've done here, because the blood orange gin has already got a little bit of bitterness to it, I've pulled away that bitter element and I've swapped it out for the slightly sweeter Aperol. So it still gives that saffron, big, bold flavour that the Campari does, but you've got the slightly higher sweetness and less bitterness that's going to balance out really well.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is, to make it that Sbagliato, is add some Prosecco to it.
Okay, that's the magic twist on the Sbagliato. Okay, so we've got our Whitley Neill, and this is kind of produced in London, I believe, as well, isn't it?
It is, yes. So you can actually see on here the crest, and you can see it on the top as well. This crest signifies the City of London distillery. So this is actually on Bridle Walk, just by Blackfriars Station. So super central. This distillery is a really old functioning distillery. And then a couple of years ago, the guys at Whitley Neill then acquired the distillery and moved all their production in there. So actually all of Whitley Neill gins come out of the central London, or the City of London distillery. Okay,
brilliant. So we're bringing that London twist to our Negroni, which sounds good. And these guys, I believe, are also the #1 premium gin in the UK at the moment, aren't they?
Along with, I believe it was last year or the year before, the #1 premium cocktail is the Negroni.
It works out perfectly, and hopefully, you never know, we might be #1 on social medias for our Negroni Sbaglioni.
Sbaglioni? Well, especially because it's a Sbagliato.
Well, there we go. We're making a new cocktail as we go along, right?
Absolutely. You try it, you tell me what it needs, and we'll just keep going.
Okay, we'll keep mixing. Research and development, that's what we call it.
Absolutely.
And we'll see how we get on
my favourite kind of research.
Thick version of it. Okay, so we've got the apple going in. That's a 25. We've had a 25 as well of that one. And then, was it a 50 of the gin?
So
25 of
3 equal parts.
Yep.
So 3 equal parts of the blood orange gin, the Aperol, and the Punta-Mez, which is a sweet vermouth, but it has a slightly more bitter. Punta-Mez actually in Milanese dialect means 1.5. So it's got that kind of Cinque, the slight dryness to it, but it also has those juicy red notes. It's not too bitter, but also not too rich.
Okay, brilliant. And those would be our core ingredients if someone wants to stick with just the Negroni. That's what we're going for. We're getting 2 cocktails in one in this video, so bonus.
Do you know, it's light, fresh. The problem I find a lot of people have with a Negroni is they find it too bitter.
Okay.
You know, and actually, I think the most common problem is people don't stir it down well enough.
Okay.
You know, they'll stir it 15 times, pass it across the passes, undiluted. You've still got these unmixed liquids that are all pretty powerful, you know, especially when you're talking about a blood orange gin in it already. You know, it's a bold flavour. You want to let that do its work.
Okay.
So we want to put a sweet vermouth that actually isn't too rich, those big berry notes, and then with the Aperol that's not too bitter to really allow that gin to do its work.
Okay, so that ice there really drawing out those flavours and combining them.
Absolutely right. And then as soon as we add the Prosecco, once this is stirred down to where we want it to be, just that effervescence brings it right up, lifts all those flavours, and I just think it makes it such a it's just the quaffable cocktail.
A quaffable cocktail, that is a great word for a cocktail. Okay, that's looking good. That's all stretched out.
Yep, so what I'm doing now, just pour it on the back of my hand. You don't want to ever let that spoon touch your hand, just get the drop out.
Okay.
It just gives you a chance to taste if that cocktail's balanced. That's what we're trying to achieve, is the harmony, so I can taste every single flavour in that cocktail. So now I'm pretty sure that's where I want it to finish. I give you the Negroni.
Okay, here we go.
Sbagliato.
Sbagliato, there we go. Well, it looks lovely, doesn't it? Okay. Cheers, let's give this a try. Yeah, it's got that, it's like that like Prosecco, but with that extra orangey punch, because, like a Negroni would maybe be a little bit strong for me personally, whereas with this, you get that nice mix, and it's a slightly longer drink, isn't it? So, absolutely. Really good, really good. Is this one of your favourites, would you say? Would you enjoy this on a night out?
Absolutely, I think these, the you know, Milano Torino, the Negroni, the Spagliato, all the kind of very similar drinks that made around that similar era. I just think they've got that amazing herbaceous notes that kind of gives a slight dry palate, gives a bit of depth to it.
Yeah.
But with those sweet elements of the Prosecco, of the Aperol, it just freshens it up. You know, I think it's perfect harmony for what kind of cocktail I'm looking for.
Exactly, like you said, but fresh.
Absolutely.
I love it. Brilliant. Cheers.